Hello world, welcome to Champions Online Archetype Update. The heavy weapons set has been updated to include a lot more fire. Most of it is now split, crushing, and fire damage instead of just a few powers. I didn't notice any energy issues despite completely ignoring statting for thermal reverberation, which the Devastator now has. Unfortunately, no self-heal was added, which is a big old sad face for that. So I'm just going to go through the new power progression and talk about powers that have changed as they come up. The level 1 choices are the same, it's just bludgeon and cleave. However, cleave has been changed. It doesn't just magically imply rage anymore. It now has a 30, 40, 50% chance to knock down on the first, second, third swings in that order. It has a 25% chance to apply clinging flames. It has 2 advantages. The defensive stats is 2 points. It applies Defiance on disoriented targets at the couple's end. I don't see a point. I would just go with rank 3. I mean, the Devastator is pretty tanky. Rampant is 2 points. I think this is completely wasted points. You get offense and knock resistance. I mean, the Devastator has a lot of strength, and it has knock resistance from its passive, and other powers are going to give you this buff for free. At level 6 you get Unstoppable, that hasn't changed. At level 8 you have Arc of Ruin, which is now a 360 degree hit. It has a 100% chance to disorient on full charge. No quarter has been changed. It's now 15 crushing and 15 fire debuff on enemies, which is nice. I would say it is absolutely 100% worth it. Most of the time I use Arc of Ruin for the debuff, and it's a really good, it's actually better than it was before, so there's that. Wildfire, I don't really think it's worth it. I mean, it's 2 points. What it does is it refreshes Clinging Flames. If you're using Cleave, you're probably applying Clinging Flames anyway. There's actually several powers that can apply Clinging Flames as part of the power, so I don't see a point. Level 11 is the choice that the Devastator should have always had. Vicious Descent or Decimate, because you're choosing between 2 lunges, and it's such a great choice. This is what I always wanted for the Devastator. Vicious Descent had to be moved down to tier 2, but whatever. The 14-second recharge still blows, but it applies Reckless, which is the 15 offense, 33 knock resistance thing, which it's free, I guess, but I don't really care about this buff because it doesn't seem terribly good. And then, of course, the Relentless, which is what I always take, because you basically knock everything down, and knocking things down gives you enraged stacks. I believe it used to have some sort of innate enrage thing. It just gave you a stack of enrage, but it doesn't do that anymore. You just get your enrage because you're knocking things down. And speaking of enrage, it's level 14 power anyway, and enrage didn't change at all. So that's the same old, same old. So after this point, the power choices are kind of not as good as they could be. At level 17 you get the power choice between Skewer and Skull Crusher, and at 30 you get a choice between Earth Splinter or Eruption, and then at 40 you get Brimstone. So to me, the choice between Skewer and Eruption, and then the choice between Skull Crusher and Brimstone would have made more sense, and then you just get Earth Splitter as level 30 power. If you went with Skewer and then over Skull Crusher, then your level 30 choices between Earth Splitter, a ranged power, or Eruption, which can also serve the same function as Skewer. But if you pick Skull Crusher and then Eruption, you have Brimstone at 40, which kind of does the same thing as Skull Crusher. They're like pretty similar to each other. So I don't know why they didn't go with Skewer and Eruption as a choice, and then Skull Crusher with Brimstone, because that would have made a lot more sense to me. But anyway, the Skewer still does pretty decent damage. The follow-through and initiative are probably about the same damage. I don't think they're like wildly different from each other. And now it can apply bleed. It has a 22 to 50% chance to apply bleed based on charge time, which is kind of weird and makes Skewer a little bit of like an oddball in a power set that's full of things that light you on fire, or well, enemies anyway. Skull Crusher, well, I would not pick Skull Crusher over Skewer just because I think Skull Crusher has a goofy animation and I don't like that. At level 21 you get Guard, at level 25 you get Thermal Reverberation. This to me is kind of weird. Thermal Reverberation scales with Endurance, but they didn't change the secondary super stat from Recovery to Endurance so that it would actually have good synergy with this. So, I mean, luckily the Devastator doesn't have energy issues anyway. At level 30 you get the choice between Earth Splitter or Eruption, which I obviously already said it was a silly choice because Earth Splitter is basically your ranged power, and it can also do something cool that has the advantage that, like, sucks enemies to you instead of knocking them up if they're too far away. It just knocks them to you, which is awesome because you're a melee character, and it's just like, oh, you're too far away. I'm just gonna make you come closer to me. Earth Splitter can apply Reckless, which is the weak sauce buff for the offense and knock resistance. It has a chance to apply Clinging Flames, the 42 to 100% chance based on charge time. At 35 you get Aggressor, which is still great for giving you free and rage attacks at the beginning of a fight. And at level 40 you get Brimstone, which is kind of a redundant pick with Skull Crusher, but it's still good power. And of course you could do like the whole He-Man pose. Can't forget that, which is awesome. Overall, the Devastator is still decent, even though it has a whole bunch of new choices that kind of don't make sense because they should have been paired up better, but weren't. Haley's, though, you get to choose between Vicious Descent or Decimate, which was kind of the choice that I always thought the Devastator should have in the first place because it's the one choice that absolutely makes sense. Completely, 100%, no questions about it.